Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate you for joining me. Before we get started, let me not forget to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button too, so you know when these videos are dropping. And make sure you share and comment. Tell me what you're thinking about these videos. I appreciate you, man. Man, I've been debating on whether or not to comment on this, because I don't watch the WNBA, and honestly, I don't have any desire to watch the WNBA. But every time I turn on my feed, my YouTube feed, I'm hearing conversations about not even so much the WNBA, more so Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And so over the last couple of days, I've just been watching a lot of content related to Caitlin Clark and ultimately Angel Reese. The other day, what really sparked another round of conversation was the hard foul. A lot of people say it was a flagrant foul that, oh my gosh, what's the young lady's name? Kennedy Carter placed on Caitlin Clark as she was trying to inbound the ball, and so she gave her a hard hip hit. She fell to the ground, and that sparked another round of this conversation. And what's been frustrating for me about the conversation is two things. Number one, you're hearing a lot of conversation about men who you've never heard talk about the WNBA. Never heard. I do like Whitlock. I watch a lot of Whitlock. And until Caitlin Clark, Whitlock didn't talk about the WNBA. My man, Officer Tatum, he's talking about the WNBA. We've got just a lot of men just commenting on the WNBA. And what I find interesting about all of these conversations is they're all rooted in the black women are hating on the white woman. And I don't know, I just feel like this conversation is so much more nuanced than just the black women are hating on the white woman, that for them to boil this conversation down to something so simplistic is just disappointing for me when they look at bigger complex issues on other things and are a little bit more broad in their perspective. And so as I was, doing a little bit more research, I finally came across a common sense video about this conversation, because I do think, number one, if you're not acknowledging a part of Caitlin Clark's success is related to the fact that she's a white woman who's doing this, then you're not being honest about the conversation. Because while she may be the greatest scorer in women's basketball history, she's not the biggest champion. And she's not even the biggest champion by any measure. There's other women who've won 3 championships in a row in college. They've been the best player on their team. They've gone into the WNBA and been the best player in the WNBA. Candace Parker is an example of that. I mean, the woman won 3, I believe she won 3 championships in college. 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And then she went to the WNBA and then was the Rookie of the Year and the MVP of the year in her rookie year. I mean, MVP of the league in her rookie year. So when we're talking about accomplishments, Caitlin Clark hasn't done this. Yes, she scored better than all of them, but she doesn't have the accomplishments. And so when I think about the attention that she's got, yes, a part of it is because she's doing it from a scoring perspective and people notice scores. She's always getting the Steph Curry comparison, right? So I get it. If you're putting up 30 points from the 3-point line, people are going to pay attention. So I get that part of it. But it's you know, anybody you gotta acknowledge though that the fact that she's white helps, because it's like, wow, there's one of us. And there's a lot of people that relate to that. And rightfully so. I'm not even knocking it. I'm not mad. I'm not hating. But I think you're a fool if you won't acknowledge the truth. We live in a country where still the majority of the country is still white. It is declining, but that's still the majority of the country. And in a sport dominated by black females, it's not often that they get a white female. And there's been other females, but they've been foreign, so that's a little bit different. But we got an American-born white female who was dominating, at least from a scoring perspective, in women's basketball. So I get it. I'm not even mad at it, because if it's not like it comes around all the time. So you're gravitating to that special thing because that special thing is here. And we've been seeing it, as we've, countless conversations, right, about it in the league as well, of course, right? She was the hottest thing in college, even though she didn't win no championships. It's okay. And now she's the hottest thing in the WNBA. And I get it, but I just think this conversation has been so overblown, in my opinion, that so simplistic. The black women are hating on the white girl. Like, as educated as we are, and some of these same people will not deny, that will acknowledge that race doesn't play a huge part in your success in this country. And I'm on that train. I don't believe race plays a part in your success in this country in 2024. I think how hard you work, regardless of race, big things can be accomplished. But that's where I delved the conversation. And then I ran across all the smoke. And I said, finally, a rational conversation about what's going on in the WNBA. Let's take a look.
The way I think people who appreciate the game do. This Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese thing kind of reminds me, and go with me, a little bit of the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, black star, a white star. If you remember, they say Magic and Bird saved basketball. That was the 34th year of the NBA. With all the greatness that's happened in the prior 27 years in the WNBA, some people are saying Caitlin Clark and Reese are kind of a new iteration of that. I mean, this is the 28th year for the WNBA. And again, although they've had a lot of greatness to come before these ladies are bringing the eyeballs and the attention that are going to make this game go to the next level.
Well, you hit it on the nose with the Larry Bird Magic comparison. I think they're dealing with a lot of stuff that Magic and Larry deal with. Like, people made Larry and Magic seem like it was racial between them, but it wasn't Larry and Magic.
No,
they loved
cool.
So now this is a take. I've heard this take. Several people have been doing this take. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I recall Angel Reese saying that her and Caitlin Clark played each other in high school. So these young ladies have known each other for quite some time. You figure if they'd known each other in high school, let's say I don't know if it was junior or senior year, but let's say it was senior year, they've obviously known each other through college, and that's been 4 or 5 years. So they've been knowing each other over 5 years at this point. And so I'd imagine there's probably less animosity between them individually than there is from the perspective of media.
Each other, but everybody on the outside with their own opinions. You know what I'm saying? They had to pick a side, and they made it racial. And I think both of these young ladies are dealing with the same thing. It's always been great basketball, but it was never basketball on the eyes on basketball like it was in college for these two young ladies, and it transferring to the WNBA. So both of these young ladies have everything to do with it being the light being on basketball right now. But I will say,
it was a talented rookie class overall. But those two are the main story, right?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
And this is why I love that it's a lot of women basketball players who are speaking and having the same way we feel about it. Because when LeBron came in the league, I love LeBron. He's one of the top 3 all-time players, one of my favorite players ever. But he tried to dunk on me when he was a rookie, and I slammed him to the ground.
No, you're supposed to
Now, and that's another thing I wanted to. I loved what he just said, because a part of the conversation that they're saying as it relates to Caitlin Clark is that she's getting unfairly attacked by the women in the WNBA. So they're purposely out to get her. And when I watch basketball, and I don't watch the WNBA, so I can't even really speak on the WNBA. Just here to tell you. But what I do see when I see basketball is when the new guy comes into the league, the old guys let him know, hey, we ain't in college no more, bruh. And so it doesn't surprise me that in women's professional sports, the old guys let the young guys know, hey, this ain't college no more. And so it's more physical. There's some vets that are going to be a little rough just to let you know, hey, you're going to have to do some stuff that was different in college if you're going to be successful here. So I love that illustration that they call him Jack, but of course we know his name is Steven. Said about LeBron. LeBron was Caitlin Clark, the equivalent, in the sense that he came in not even from college. He came in from high school being what they say was going to be the man in the NBA. And so I can imagine the brothers in the NBA like, wait a minute, y'all finna tell us we been here. Y'all finna put this little high school kid and say he about to be better than all of us that's been here? And so I love that illustration that Jack said, hey, when that dude came in the league, he tried to dunk on me, I slammed him. Like, wait a minute, little boy. So when I see the rough housing, if you will, and these hard fouls in the WNBA, I'm thinking, if these were men, would anybody be saying anything? Would anybody say, oh, they hating? Would anybody be saying, oh, they're treating him wrong? Or would they just be like, that's a part of the game? So if they say that, if that's how we treat men, why can't we treat women the same way? Because it's not like there's a man out there doing this to her. There's other women. There's other women going, when you come in the league, it's going to be different. No different than what a vet says, an NBA veteran says about young guys coming into the league. When you come in the league, it's going to be different. I mean, we've heard so many stories from great NBA players talking about just the difference between preseason and regular season. I can't remember the player, but they were playing Michael Jordan. I want to say it was AI. And he told a story about how in preseason he balled on Jordan, and Jordan let him know, okay, I got you. And they got to the regular season, and Jordan killed him, or something to that nature. But again, it's that little boy. You in the big leagues now. I don't know. Let's keep going.
So, yeah,
I hard down slammed, and we have the footage. Bro, I hard down slammed him. Yeah. But that's just a part of the game. I wasn't trying to hurt him. It was just, you're not going to embarrass me and you coming into the league. You know, it's a part of the game. Right. I don't think people are doing it to actually hurt her or being a personal. If you've never been in the game, you wouldn't understand. That's why I like the way that a lot of the female athletes are speaking up, saying that, no, this happens in the game too. Yeah. You know, I played this game. We're going to treat Caitlin just like everybody else. Am I saying she didn't do what she's doing for the game? No, but she is a regular player just like everybody else when we play the game. And I respect that. So,
and that's another thing. Because a lot of the women who are commenting on the WNBA are saying just that. And most of the women commenting are former WNBA players or former college basketball players themselves. And they're saying exactly what Steven's saying. They're saying, hey, this is a part of the game. And then men are coming along and saying, no, it ain't. Y'all just jealous. Like, if there was any time to let women speak for women, this is probably the time. This is probably the time where women should be speaking for women. Because let's be honest, until Caitlin Clark, men weren't watching the WNBA. I'm a man. I'm still not watching the WNBA. But you know what I'm not doing is telling women who played in the WNBA, who played college basketball, that they're wrong about what's going on in college, in the WNBA. So it's just weird, this conversation really being sparked by men, and everybody's telling the women they're wrong. This is all jealousy and hate.
You have to deal with the good and bad both ways. Yeah. I think with any sports you deal with, people gonna praise you. And as soon as they get a chance to kick you, they're gonna kick you.
Kick the shit
out
of you.
You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that the eyes are on it, I think both of these women, because I've been watching, I come from Texas. You know, I watched the Comets win multiple championships, but I love the fact for what Caitlin and what Angel's done for the game. I love it.
And again, I think they're the vehicle that are going to make people look up who, Diana Taurasi, arguably one of the GOATs, Stewie, and the list goes on how talented these women are. Asia, we'll speak about Asia a little bit later, but they've been the vehicle. But Jack, I think that brings me to I made a comment the other day, or I made a little video the other day when Caitlin got pushed down by Sydney Carter, and it wasn't so much that she got pushed. You don't want to see cheap shots. Sometimes it happens in the physicality.
We all got hit with them.
She's gonna get beat up, and they're supposed to beat her up,
right?
You know what I mean? Like we were talking about before. Like I remember the first time we played KD in the preseason when he was with Seattle. We were with the We Believe Team Warriors. We was trying to dog his ass, trying to dog him. He was a young boy. You know what I mean? Like we tried to physically beat him up. But that's what you do to people who are supposed to be next in line. They're supposed to be great. So again, my whole thing wasn't with her getting elbowed or harsh.
And I imagine there's people that are going to listen to this interview. But again, two former NBA players and go, they're wrong. So if I can't listen to a conversation from former players and take them at their word, why is it that I should be able to, why would I take the word of men who've never played the sport and take their word as truth? Doesn't make sense to me. And everything people have been saying about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is all true too. The people are coming to see Caitlin Clark. It's true. They say her average game this season, I believe, is in upwards of 13,000, 14,000, maybe even 15,000 people. Where the average game, I believe, prior to this was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000, 9,000. So she's killing that, right? There are a lot more eyes on the season this year. That's all true. Obviously, she got the $28 million contract they say from Nike. All true. And Angel Reese is not doing bad herself. When she was in college, they said she had one of the highest NIL deals. They all make the same in the WNBA. And I don't know what her outside deals are, but I imagine she's probably making 5 or 10 million or so herself. So they're all bringing eyes and ears to the game. To me, what's so sad about this conversation is, yes, Caitlin is drawing, but Caitlin is not even the best player right now. One of the best players in the league is the same lady who won MVP last year, Asia Wilson. She's still killing the game. And we had these whole conversations about the eyes and the ears on the WNBA. But every time I hear it, all I hear about is Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. If Caitlin Clark is hit, I hear about that. If Angel Reese said something, I hear about how she's a villain and she's not that important. But everybody's saying we're talking about it more, but the only real people we're talking about are the two people who are rookies and who are doing their best to keep up. And in my opinion, Angel Reese is having a little bit more success, only from the standpoint she's a rebounder. That's who she is. Yeah, she scores points when she can, but her bread and butter is rebounding. And she's top 10 as a rookie. Caitlin, I believe, I was looking today, I want to say it was top 15 in scoring, and that's what she's known for. And when you look at her scoring average right now is probably about 14, not 14, about 11 to 12 points beneath the highest score in the league. So she's not killing the game yet, but everybody's waiting to see those games where she drains it from the three-point line. And that's cool. I'm not even mad at it. As far as the women are concerned, I'm sure every single woman in the WNBA is happy that people are paying attention. And I'm sure the trickle-down effect is in effect. But what I'd appreciate, just from my perspective, I'd appreciate if we can stop having conversations about hate. And if you want to enjoy the game, go enjoy the game. But it seems we're only talking about it when Caitlin gets hurt or Caitlin gets abused. Truth is, Angel Reese got clotheslined. I didn't see no articles about that. So let's stop pretending that everybody's hating on Caitlin. And if we're going to watch these games, if we're going to talk about the WNBA, can we at least hear the names of some of the best players in the league right now? Because it's not Caitlin. It's not Angel Reese. They might be in 2-3 years, but they aren't right now. So let's get it together. If y'all going to have a conversation about the entire league. Because the league is bigger than two people. Even if one of those people is driving it, it's still bigger than her. And on that note, on B period, and I'm out.